शुभाशुभ परित्यागी समेत्य समशत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मान अपमानयो शीतेषु सुख दुःखेषु समसंग विवर्जिता तुल्य निंदा सुदिमोनि संतुष्टो येन किंचित् अनिकेतः स्थिरमति भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नर हेतु धर्मामृतं वेदं यथोक्तं परिभाषते श्रद्धानामत परमा भक्ता सेव्य मे प्रिया। ओम तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुन संवादे भक्तियोग नाम 12 સાથે 15 માં જેનો પાઠ કરીશું તે 15 શ્રી ભગવાન વાચ ઊર્ધ્વમૂલ મદ સાખમ અસ્વત્થમ પ્રાહુરવ્યયમ છંદાંસી યસ્ય પર્ણાની યસ્તવેદ સવેદવિદ અદસ્તદ પ્રસુતસ્ય શાખા ગુણા પ્રવૃદ્ધા विषय प्रभाला अधस्तमूला संततानि कर्मान् वन्दे निमनुष्यलोके न रूपं तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिन सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरुद्धं मूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण जित्वा तत्पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यं यस्मिन् गतान निवर्तन्ति भूय तमे यतः प्रवृत्ति प्रसुता पुराणी निर्वाणमोहा जितसङ्गतोषा अध्यात्मनित्या द्वन्द्वे विमुक्ता सुखदुःखसन्ने गच्छन्त्यमूढा पदव्ययं ततः न तद्भासयते सूर्य नो शशाङ्को न पावक यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धं परं मम ममेवांशे जीवलोके जीवभूतौ सनातनः मनः संसरन् इन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति शरीरं यदवाप्नोति यच्चाप्युतकामेश्वर गृहीत्वैतानि संयान्ति वायुर्गन्धानि वासयात् श्रोत्रं चक्षुस्पर्शनं च रसनं त्राणमेव च अधिष्ठाय मनश्चाय विषयानुपसेवते उत्क्रामन्तं शीतं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमुदानानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः यतन्तो योगिनश्चैन पश्यन्तात्मविस्थितं यतन्तोऽप्युकृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यन्त चेतसः यदादित्यगतं तेजो जगद्भासयतेऽखिलं यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नो तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकं गामाविश्व अक्षरादपि चोत्तमम् एकोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रथितः पुरुषोत्तमः यो मामेवं सम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत इति गृह्यतं शास्त्रम् इदं मुक्तं मया नद एतत् बुद्ध्वा बुद्धिमानः स्यात् कृतकृत्यस्य भारतः। ओम तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे पुरुषोत्तमयोगनामे पञ्चदशो अध्यायः।
We have listed all the prayers which were really
We'll do the Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu.
favorite of Dr. Dave. So he's going to lead. Go, everybody.
We'll start with the Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu mantra, page number 9. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Page number 10 का जो ओम नमः शिवाय मंत्र પાના નંબર 14 પેજ નંબર 14. કોઈ સવર ભજીએ તમે મોટું છે તુજના ગુણ તારા નિત ગાઈએ તારા કામ હે તલાવી હસાવતો સદા રાખ દિલ સા ભૂલ કદી કરીએ અમે તો પ્રભુ કરજો પ્રભુ એટલું આપજો કુટુંબ પોષણ થાય ભૂખ્યા કોઈ સુવે નહીં સાધુ સંત સમાય અતિથિ જાકો નવ પડે આશ્રિત ના દુભાય જે આવે નમ આંગણે આશીષ દેતો જાય સ્વભાવ એવો આપજો સૌ ઈચ્છે અમહી શત્રુ ઈચ્છે મિત્રતા પાડોશી ઈચ્છે પ્રીત વિચાર વાણી વર્તને સૌનું પામું પ્રેમ સગા
Akhil Brahman. So that's how take out the song. Akhil Brahman, Sri Hari, Jyotare, Yeah. Would you please come here and give a little talk about your family?
I'd love to talk about my dad. First and foremost, I just want to thank everyone for coming here today. There's a lot of you that I haven't seen in a very, very long time. My brother and I are so grateful, our family's so grateful for all the things that many of you have done for our dad. You know, I don't understand a lot of the rituals and things that are happening today, but I know that this is what my dad would have wanted, because he was a Brahman Priest here, did a lot of weddings and funerals and stuff for this community. And I'm just so eternally grateful that you all helped me and my brother and our family send him off in a way that he can, be proud of. And, I just want to spend a minute saying it was really interesting growing up in New Orleans in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I left in the 80s. My brother left probably a little before I did. And we loved this town. And it was just so different, when we came, there was a handful of Indians. Me and my brother were the only two Indian kids in elementary school. And it was just, you walk outside the door and you're in New Orleans, you walk inside the door and you're in an Indian community filled with love. And just, he came here, I guess, my God, it would have been 1959, 1960, with a few bucks in his pocket to go get his master's at the University of Missouri. And it was a big decision for him because he was coming from this little bitty village in India. And, he was the first one to come to America, the land of opportunity. Because he could have gone to London, with the British, but he decided to come down here with the Americans. And I'm so grateful that he did, because we've had a wonderful childhood here. And now, he's on to the next existence. And I'm just, really grateful to all of you. So many of you have been so kind to us. And our children look forward to returning to this city once in a while and checking it out, meeting some of you, hopefully. But yeah, I don't think I could ask for anything more. And I'm really going to try hard to do this the correct way, like the way that you guys have told me it needs to happen. I wish I understood it more, but I guess I was a little rebellious when I was young. I wasn't really all that interested in it. But here we are, and I'm learning as quickly as I can. And I'm just really proud of my dad for what he did for my brother and I, and my mom, and our family. So, I don't really know if I have much more to say than that, except, thank you to all of you.
Like I said, we have so many friends that we knew him from at least 53 years. And I have another gentleman, a good buddy of mine. He knew Dr. Dave really well, right from 1971. Sudhir Mehta, please. Sudhir?
Yes. Dr. Dave, he loved to talk. And as I'm looking at this microphone, the direction I'm heading towards, right? Like if you got hold of the microphone, he's not going to get it out for 20, 30, 40 minutes. Whether it is funeral services, wedding, graduation. But he was a wonderful guy, and one of my best friends. I've known him, and it's difficult to use past tense yet. I'm going to have to get used to it. He was an had the mission, so he loved to talk. I'm opposite. If you look at me and I look like a deer in the headlight, that's because I really don't like to speak in public. But when I was asked to speak, believe me, I was honored. Although a chill went up my spine because I'm not a public speaker. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, friends, family, and all the guests, we are here today to remember and honor the life of a truly, truly remarkable man, Dr. Dave. Is it any wonder then that news of his passing sent a shockwave to our community? It certainly has left a big hole, a profound void, if you will, in all our hearts. And if it weren't for God's infinite wisdom to create a fourth dimension called time, we would never heal. That's how good this gentleman was. Dr. Dave, and I get a lump in my throat, but Dr. Dave was a selfless soul, and he dedicated a lot of his free time, weekends, weekdays, you call him and he's ready to help you. He has provided support to this community in any which way he could. You call him and say, Dr. Dave, you know, and he will be at your door. He loved to do that. And I love to listen to him doing that gatha more than anyone else. He has that little je ne sais quoi, if you will. You know, and you'll be affixed to your chair while he's talking. And again, you know, it is very difficult to talk about his passing, but he used to tell me, he says, Sudhir, it says life and death are two sides of the coin. It says life and death, they go hand in hand. It said death is part of life. And he says, it will occur to all of us. And he says, he told me, he says, when time comes, last time when he got sick and he was admitted to, I think it was Oxnard Hospital on Jefferson Highway. And I believe they put some stents in him or something. And me and my wife, Sarabi, along with many people, I'm sure, visited him. So, you know, when we visited him, he was talking to his insurance agent. He had stents put in him, and he was, it sounded like he was like, you know, haggling with or something, but, and he was very unhappy that he was not getting the responses from the agent that he expected. And so as we walked in, he gestured to signal us to sit down and take the seat. He says, you know, so we did. And then when he finally hung up, and I know he was very unhappy. He says, Sudhir, pardon me, Americanization of name. You know, it's just when I go to India, first few days I'm Sudhir, and then I go back to Sudhir. I know I'm in India, so I can say Sudhir or Mehta. So anyway, so we went to see him, and he goes, he says, Sudhir, this is Anne. And I said, doctor, don't say that. You have longevity on your side. You have your DNA, look, your daddy lived to be over 90 years, I don't know, how long?
I think it's
90 some years old, and I said, you're just a kid compared to him yet. And his response was, he says, look, if death comes and takes me right now, he says, I had a good life. I had a wonderful life. I had a good family, great family. And it says, God gave me more than I deserved. You know, what more can you ask from life? And I say, I agree. And he says, you know, Sudhir says, there will be only one regret. And he got very emotional. And I said, and I knew what he was going to say. He said, why did Hindu go before me? And he had a big lump in his throat, and I know he was going to sob. So I, as deftly as I could, I tried to change the subject. But it didn't work. He cried. He loved his wife so dearly, I'm sure the whole family, but even a decade after, and I don't remember when he then passed away, but even a decade after his life was gone, every conversation that I had with him, and believe me, during a pandemic, I worked from home for 18 months. I still work, by the way. Not for my friends every time, enjoying the life, you know. But I used to talk to him on weekly basis, check in on him, see how is he doing, and every time somehow Hindu would pop up in the conversation, and he would cry. And you try to change the subject, it doesn't work. But the man was truly, truly in love with his wife. And he missed her tremendously, immensely. I don't know how many more adjectives I can use, but he really missed his wife. I'm going to come back to the community that he served. Like I said, you know, he would do Satyanarayana Katha. And let me tell you this. The man has performed so many of those kathas. I bet you in thousands in his life of 86 years, only when he turned octogenarian, he kind of stopped doing that because there was a lapse in his memory sometimes, and he said, you know, I'm not going to do this anymore. But he has done it so many times that alone should qualify him to enter the doors of heaven and be in God's abode. This man was a wonderful man, and I can't, and I have a long speech here, and I'm just getting off of that because I just wanted to say what is in my heart and not what is written here. But what is written here is also important. I just want to touch base on a couple of things. First, his knowledge of Hindu scriptures. He was such an expert on Hindu scriptures. You know why? Because he was a polyglot. He said he spoke 4 languages or more. And he was an expert in all 4. Gujarati, Hindi, Sanskrit. And the reason he was such an authority on Hindu scriptures was because he knew this language in which most of our scriptures are written. He was a big fan of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, and chapter 12 and chapter 15. So if there was a death in our community, we turn to him to get solace, to get comfort, because he knew, like I said, the Hindu scriptures so well. And he was just not knowledgeable. He was a repository of wisdom, if you will. An encyclopedia, a walking encyclopedia of our sacred texts. And it is his in-depth knowledge of the scriptures that let him comfort us in our darkest moments when we needed somebody to comfort us. When my dad passed away in 1992, that was the greatest shock of my life. And I was simply inconsolable. And Dr. Dave came to my house, sat me down, explained to me the meaning of chapter 12, especially chapter 15. And I'm no expert on it. I'm going to just paraphrase what he said. Just the essence of it, chapter 15 was that body and soul are two different things. It said body is perishable. Soul is immortal. So he says you should not bereave the dead. It says it's the body made of 5 elements. I may sound like him a little bit because I learned a lot of him, laughing at him. 5 elements, they go back to the elements. The earth, the water, the air, the fire, and something else. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sure they can hear me. Right? At any rate, I know my time is up probably, but I can go on, but I just want to say this. And it's time for me to look at this a little bit. You know, like I said, he was a pillar of strength. Absolutely, and especially when there was a death in the community, you know, you turn to him and you know you'd be able to endure that initial pain of separation from your loved ones, just listening to him. We're going to miss that. I don't know who else you can turn to. It was a treasure trove of knowledge that helped us in our darkest moment, like I said. But his legacy will, and I'm going to skip a lot of this because my time is up. His legacy lives on in each one of us. In the memories we share, the lessons he imparted, and the love he spread. As we bid him farewell, let us remember him not with tears of sorrow only, but with a commitment to carry forward his legacy of service, compassion, and dedication to our community. Rest in peace, my friend. I'm going to miss you. Rest in peace, my friend. May God bless you. And bless your family. May God give your family the strength to endure this loss. And it's not going to be easy. But the prayers can help us. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Narayana, and Jai Tirunelveli.
I know, my friend, it's not easy. It's not going to be easy, even for the families. And I said before, you are not the only friends. but we have so many, like I said, friends of so many years. And I know the group when I was growing up, and I knew the word what they used to call for each other for a friendship. Bandhu. So I'm going to invite one of his Bandhu, Dr. Purohit, please.
Whose phone is that?
Dear friends, I think we all know Vibhakar for so many years. I knew him for the last 45 years. And he was part of our family. He was not separate from our family. The great man. How do I see Vibhakar and what he is, and it is my observation for the last 45 years, what type of person he is. I think first thing I noticed Vibhakar, a simple man, simplicity. He is down to earth, and simplicity was so much that even coming to the West did not touch him anything less than simplicity. He was, believe really in Gandhi's philosophy, simple living and high thinking. And that's what his motto was. And he always stayed like that. He always stayed simple. And the West did not touch him different ways. Other thing I noticed him, that he was a great Hindu. He believed in the Hindu philosophy. And he believed in a very knowledgeable man. Even Swami Vivekananda's disciple, just like that. We had a lot of conversation when we used to sit down together. He was a disciple of Swami Vivekananda. He is the philosophy of Dr. Swami Vivekananda. And I think he believed in that one. He was one of them. He believed in it. He believed in the family values. He always talked about families, how the West and how the East and what the family values are. And he believed that people should always stay married and educate the children and also nourish them. And that is what he did. He had two young guys, and they will become adult, and they are on their own, and they are doing great. So very nice to see you both.
Akshay is right here. Akshay is right here.
Okay. Seeing of a long time, that look around where you go. I think he fulfilled his family value. He was so much attached to Hindu man that it was very difficult to separate both of them. And I asked them one day, so that, Vibhakar, what's going on? You are so much attached, and sometimes you fight each other so much. He said, well, we love each other. Therefore we fight. I said, and then he told me that, look, this is what it is. Hindu is the engine of the railway. And children are sitting in the boxes. And I am having the green and red light. So therefore I am doing from the back. So I think that was a great thing he told one day. It was a double. And he was a great role model for the Indian community. He was a role model to me. He always treated me as a younger brother. But he always said, Dr. Saab. I said, don't tell me Dr. Saab. No, Dr. Saab. That is what it was. He did the same thing. So he was a Dr. Saab. But he treated me as a younger brother. And we get along very well. And learned a lot of things from him. Way of life. And how simple he was. And he was a great teacher. I think he taught the students. He took it very seriously. I remember that few times we were at home, and he was supposed to come at 4 o'clock, and he did not show up. till 8 o'clock, Hindu men took care of us. And then when we came back, I said, what happened? He said, well, I had to give some extra tuition to the children because they are way behind. I said, do you get paid for extra 4 hours? He said, no, because I want to help them out. They should not be failing in the class. So he was that type of person. He did very, dedicated to the teaching, and he was a great teacher. And he was a man of word. If he tells something to anybody, or he will do it, doesn't make any difference how much pain he has to take, but he will definitely do what he promised, or he said something. And he was a man of word. Anytime you can trust him, he said, I'm coming, I'm doing this thing. Sometimes you don't want him to do that, but you still go out of the way and do it again anyway. Of course, he was a man of the word, always ready to help anybody. I remember that one incident. I think he was involved in a small accident. Actually, the car was going in front of him, he just braked it and he hardly touched it. The lady was in the car, I don't know whether you all remember that or not. The lady in the car said that I cannot move, or cannot leave, or something like that. So immediately he parked his own car and he took her to the hospital. And I told him, I told them that he told the incidents. I said, you should have called the ambulance. In this country, you don't take it like that. And he said, well, I think it was my fault. I said, how do you know your fault? Did you know that? He said, well, I touched the car. I said, you touched a car, but that was not your fault. So you put a brake in front of you. I said, well, I was just for help. He helped that lady, and on the top of that, he could have lost it on that. And I know that was settled eventually. But that was the type of person that he did not live on the highway. He took his car and kept to the hospital and dropped in the hospital. So I think he was a very generous and very kind person. I think his love with his family, the love with his friend was so much that small little thing, he became very emotional. He was an emotional person. And he became emotional because he loved everybody. He just wanted to be with the people. He didn't want to live alone. He lives in the man so much. So we just had about 2 months back in the dinner. And still those tears are coming from him. Because we discuss about life and how things evolve and things like that. And it was interesting that he was emotionally attached to him and vice versa. And loved their children. Always talk about something. Obviously, they are doing this, they are doing, and the grandchildren now. I think he was the man of the family, and I think we are all going to miss him. And I think today we are celebrating that what he has done in his life, and that the celebration is about. He is in a better place. I think his soul is with him now. I think we are all together, and he is free from us. We all pray for his peace of the soul. Thank you very much.
Well, there is another Bandhu, Dr. Kedia. Please.
Dear friends, I have no words to describe the way I felt. Everything has already been said. I will probably be repeating the same thing. I knew Dr. Dave for almost 45 years, half a century. That's a long time to know. And I could never recall one time that was disappointing when I met him or talked to him at any time. In those days, the initial days, it was always Hindu and Vibhakar Dave together. They were part of our family. They were there for every celebration, as somebody has said. They were there to cheer us or bless us, pray for us, or do rituals for celebrations. But they were also there for all our souls to help us or to just comfort us during the tough times. And he did a great job. As Sudhir said, body and soul are different. We always said soul is indestructible. It will go from here to somewhere else. And he comforted everybody. He did both the rituals for celebration or for the loss very graciously and very professional. So we will never forget that. As has been well said about Hindu band and Vibhakar Dave, they were so close. Vibhakar Dave was never the same after Hindu band passed. Every time I met him, he will cry as if it just passed yesterday. And how can you forget that? That was the kind of love he had for Hindu band. He was a man of giving. He always gave, never expected anything in return. Doesn't matter what you do. And on the other side, he always appreciated what you do for him without asking for in return. It so happened that I was fortunate enough to be part of Hindu Band's when she was ill, to take care of her. Every time I met him, he would thank me repeatedly. I said, I didn't do anything. I said, look at what you do for all of us, for everybody in the community. He said, I didn't do anything, Prakash Bhai. One does it all. So he never took any credit for whatever he did. And that's the type of person he was. So, for me and my wife, we thought he was a great, good woman for us. He did everything, all our celebrations. Like we entered our first house from Bhumi Puja to Grah Pravesh. He did everything. And he did it very graciously, very nicely. Never expected anything from us. And we had a great life in the house. He did all the rituals for my daughter, her marriage. I will be in debt to him forever. Today we have lost a very holy, very educated, smart, humble man who cared for all of us, not just one person, two person. He cared for the whole community. I pray for his peace. May God send his soul in peace and keep him in peace. Thank you so much.
We have one very small prayer we just like to do. And then Supa will come and read the letters. One of the letters from the Bapa's temple. Go ahead. Sure.
આપણે પહેલા જે બુકમાં છે ને કીર્તન છે પેજ નંબર 13 એ મંદિર તારું વિશ્વરૂપારું મંદિર તારું વિશ્વરૂપારું સુંદર સર્જન હારા રે પડ પડ તારા દર્શન થાય દેખે દેખણ હારા રે મંદિર તારું વિશ્વરૂપારું સુંદર સર્જન હારા રે છેલ્લા 4 વીક પહેલાં મારા ટેક્સ આવ્યો કે આ ગરીબ બ્રાહ્મણ છે ને જે જીવ્યો છે ને આ તમે સ્વામિનારાયણ ખવડાવ્યું ને એટલે આટલું લાંબુ જીવ્યો. આ એમનો છેલ્લો ટેક્સ મારા પર હતો, 2 વીક પહેલાંનો છે. પછી એમણે એડ કર્યું એટલે અમને વચ્ચે બહુ તબિયત ખરાબ હતી ત્યારે ઓછું જમવાનું હતું કે ધનસુખભાઈમાં થોડું વધારે જમાય છે એટલે થોડી રોટલી વધારે આપજો. સારું વાંધો નહીં. તો આમની સ્મૃતિ છે છેલ્લે બહુ ફાર્મ પર બી ખૂબ વાત હતી. બીએપીએસ મંદિર તરફથી જે લેટર છે એને પણ આપણે વાંચીએ. હરિ ઓમ અસતો મા સદગમય તમસો મા જ્યોતિર્ગમય મૃત્યુમાં પ્રગમય. ઓ ભગવાન, lead me from illusion to truth. Lead me from darkness to light. Lead me from death to immortal life. Dear Sanat and Akshay and family, Jai Swaminarayan, Jai Shri Krishna. We are grieved having heard of the passing away of your beloved family member, Dr. Vibhakar Dave. All of us feel that him leaving his world will leave a deep void in all of our life. But now let's us proceed with a brave heart and calm mind. Great sage, sadhus and scriptures have constantly reminded us of the fact that life on this earth is transitory. They have also given us hope. Death is not our end. In fact, we will all eventually reach our true home, Akshardham, a place of boundless bliss and tranquility. Yet, it's but not natural to feel sad at the loss of someone we love. May Dr. Vibhakar Dave find the bliss of God. May God grant all of us strength to bear the loss. We also strive to imbibe the virtue he exemplified. With innermost prayer to Bhagavan Swaminarayan, the Guru Hari Pramukh Swami Maharaj, and Pragat Guru Hari Swami Maharaj, on behalf of BAPS Swaminarayan Temple, New Orleans.
I know Dr. Kiran Zaveri is not here, but from the Hindu Temple Society of New Orleans, he and I had a conversation. He left a message to me that in memory of Dr. Dave, I think on September 15th, they're going to have a special puja, prayers, and serving. But the letter will follow and let everybody know what exactly the time and what their program is. Now, I have Dr. Dave's cousins. Come on, you want to say something? So, come on. I'm sorry, Masata.
Vibhakar Masa was our mom's, our mom was Hindu Masi's sister, so we are his niece and nephew. I just wanted to give a little different perspective of how we knew him or how we remembered him. So anytime Vibhakar Masa would talk to us, you always had his undivided attention. He was never distracted, and he always tailored his conversation to fit you perfectly. And he did that with every single person he spoke to. So anytime you walked away from talking to Vibhakar Masa, you felt like you had just this sense of fulfillment, that you have this person who gave you his undivided attention and just advice. My dad and Vibhakar Masa spent many times a week talking about everything, physics, politics, religion, you name it. You talk to anybody here or anyone that knew him, and they will have a very similar story. he always returned a phone call. If you didn't reach him and you left him a message, he will call you back. When we were kids, my brother and I used to come to New Orleans a lot, at least several times that I can remember. And as a little kid, you just, even when you grow up, you remember certain things. So for us, we always remembered his wool hats, you know? The way that he spoke, when he spoke to a room, he didn't need a microphone, and he had the whole room's attention just like that. Or the way that when he would walk into Hindu Masi and Vibhakar Masa's home, and the first thing you would smell was her Revlon Charlie perfume. I mean, to this day, I can remember that smell. Right now, I can smell it. You know, he was very, very generous, as everybody said, and he passed on that generous nature to Akshay Bey and Sanat Bey. And if you know them, you'll know that they are just as generous. I always say how much I love New Orleans and how much it means to me. But it wasn't until today that I realize now that it's not New Orleans, the city, that's special to me. It was special because Vibhakar Masa and Hindu Masi were here, and that's why New Orleans was special. And it'll never be the same again without them here. That's all. Thank you.
Now we're going to start doing the puja. It's going to be very short. Right after that, everyone will be invited to come to the last visit to Dr. Dave. Sejong, Sanat, Sanat, Akshay.
Guru Vishnu शांति अंतरिक्षं शांति पृथ्वी शांति शांतिराप शांति दुःखदयः शांति वनस्पतयः शांति विश्वदेवाः शांति ब्रह्म शांति सर्वगुण शांति शांतिरेव शांति सामा शांतिरेधि जतो यत समीयते ततो नो अभयं कुरु सन्न कुरु प्रजाभ्यो भयन्य पशुभ्यः विश्वानि देव सवितदुरितानि परासुव जडभद्रन्तन्न आसुव ॐ शान्तिः 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 सुशान्तिर्भवतु सर्वारिष्ट शान्तिर्भवतु। मासोत्तमासे श्रावण मासे शुभ पुण्यतीतो प्रथमतीतो शनिवासरे सनदबाई नामनां संबंधी अक्षरबाई नामनां संबंधी डॉक्टर विभाकर दवे असदगति विनाशम उत्तम लोक प्राप्त्यर्थम अक्षरधाम प्राप्त्यर्थम अग्निदाह संस्कार निमित्ते मृतदेह पूजनाख्यम कर्मम अहम करिष्ये। स्वस्ति वाञ्छनम् स्वस्ति वाञ्छनं हरि ओं स्वस्ति न इन्द्र वृजशवा हरि ओं स्वस्ति न इन्द्र वृजशवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तारक्षो अरिष्टनेमि स्वस्ति न बृहस्पति ददातु भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयां देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाभिजत्राः शिरे संगे दुःश्वासनो मे विषमेहि देवहितेन जदायो। देवाभिवन्दनं गुरुपादाभिवन्दनं च नमामि सहजानन्दं नित्यं सर्वावतारिणं मूलाक्षरं स्वरूपं च गुणातीतमुनिमुदा वन्दे वन्दे ब्रह्मस्वरूपाणं सदरुणां परम्परां मुक्तास सद्गुरुं सर्वान् साधुपासदसंस्कृतान् गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वर गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। गुणातीतो अक्षरं ब्रह्म भगवान् पुरुषोत्तमो जनो जानम् इदं सत्यं मुच्यते भवबन्धनात्। ओम श्री पूर्णपुरुषोत्तमाय श्री सहजानंद स्वामी महाराजाय नमो नमः। ओम श्री अक्षर पुरुषोत्तम महाराजाय नमो नमः। ओम श्री गुणातीतानंद स्वामी महाराजाय नमो नमः। ओम श्री भगत जी महाराजाय नमो नमः। ओम श्री शास्त्री जी महाराजाय नमो नमः। ओम श्री योगी जी महाराजाय नमो नमः। ओम श्री प्रमुख स्वामी महाराजाय नमो नमः। ओम श्री महंत स्वामी महाराजाय नमो नमः। ओम श्री मन महागणाधिपते नमः। ओम श्री सर्वेभ्यो देवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ओम श्री सर्वेभ्यो ब्राह्मणेभ्यो नमो नमः। ओम श्री ग्राम देवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ओम श्री स्थान देवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ओम श्री इतर कर्म प्रधान देवताभ्यो नमो नमः। शिवाभिवन्दनात् गुरुपादात् वन्दनात् गन्धात् पुष्पाणि समर्पयामि नमस्करोमि। सुमुखस्य एकदन्तस्य कपिलो गजकर्णक लम्बोदरस्य विकटो विघ्ननाशो गणाधिप धूम्रकेतु गणाध्यक्षो बालचन्द्रो गजानन द्वादशैतानि नामानि यः पठेत् शृणुयादपि विद्यारम्भे विवाहे च प्रवेशे निर्गमे तथा सङ्ग्रामे सङ्कटस्यैव विघ्नस्तस्य न जायते शुक्लाम्बरधरं देवं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नं वदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्ते अभीप्सिद्धिसिद्ध्यर्थे पूजितय सुरासुरे सर्वविघ्नहरस्तस्मै गणाधिपते नमः सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते सर्वदा सर्वकार्येषु नास्ति तेषां मङ्गलम् येषां हृदयस्थो भगवान् मङ्गलाय तनोहरि तदेव लग्नं सुदिनं तदेव ताराबलं चन्द्रबलं तदेव विद्याबलं देवबलं तदेव लक्ष्मीपते ते इन्द्रियुगं स्मरामि लाभस्तेषां जयस्तेषां कुतस्तेषां पराजय येषाम् इन्द्रियवश्यं हृदयस्थो जनार्दन यत्र योगेश्वर कृष्ण यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धर तत्र से विजयो भूति ध्रुवादिति मति मम सर्वारम्भेषु कार्येषु त्रयेषु भुवनेश्वरः देवादिसन्तु न सिद्धि ब्रह्मसान जनार्दन विनाशकं गुरुभानु ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश्वरन् सरस्वती प्रणमादो सर्वकार्यार्थसिद्धये। जपाभिषेकं जनमंगलनामावली नमो नमः श्रीहरये बुद्धिदाय दयावते भक्तिधर्माङ्गजाताय भक्तकल्पद्रुमाय च सुगन्धपुष्पहारादे विविधैरोपहारके सम्पूजिताय भक्तये सीताम्बरधराय च नाम्नामस्तसुगं चतुर्वर्गम् अभीप्सितं सद्यफलप्रदं गुणा तस्य वक्ष्यामि सत्कते वर्णिवेशरमणीयदर्शनम् मन्दहासरुचिराननाम्बुजं पूजितं सुरनरोत्तमे मुदा धर्मनन्दनम् अहं विचिन्तये। ओम श्री कृष्णाय नमः ओम श्री वासुदेवाय नमः ओम श्री नरनारायणाय नमः ओम श्री प्रभवे नमः ओम श्री भक्तिधर्मात्मजाय नमः ओम श्री अजन्मने नमः ओम श्री कृष्णाय नमः ओम श्री नारायणाय नमः ओम श्री हरये नमः ओम श्री हरिकृष्णाय नमः ओम श्री घनश्यामाय नमः ओम श्री धार्मिकाय नमः ओम श्री भक्तिनंदनाय नमः ओम श्री भूतवृद्धराय नमः ओम श्री शुद्धाय नमः ओम श्री राधाकृष्णस्तदेवताय नमः ओम श्री मरुतसुतप्रियाय नमः ओम श्री कालभैरवदत्तभीषणाय नमः ओम श्री जितेन्द्रियाय नमः ओम श्री गीताहाराय नमः ओम श्री तीव्रवैराग्याय नमः ओम श्री आस्तिकाय नमः ओम श्री योगेश्वराय नमः ओम श्री योगकलाप्रवृत्तये नमः ओम श्री अतिधेयवते नमः ओम श्री ज्ञानिने नमः ओम श्री परमहंसाय नमः ओम श्री तीर्थकृते नमः ओम श्री तीर्थिकातीर्थाय नमः ओम श्री क्षमानिधये नमः ओम श्री सदोनिन्द्रियाय नमः ओम श्री ध्याननिष्ठाय नमः ओम श्री तपप्रियाय नमः ओम श्री सिद्धेश्वराय नमः ओम श्री स्वतंत्राय नमः ओम श्री ब्रह्मविद्याप्रदकाय नमः ओम श्री प्रासंडोच्छेदनपटवे नमः ओम श्री स्वस्वरूप परिचालसितये नमः ओम श्री प्रशांतमूर्ते नमः ओम श्री निर्दोषाय नमः ओम असुरगुरुवादि मोहनाय नमः ओम अतिकारुण्याय नयनाय नमः। ओम श्री ऊर्ध्वप्रदकाय नमः। ओम श्री महाव्रताय नमः। ओम श्री साधुशीलाय नमः। ओम श्री साधु विप्रपूजिकाय नमः। ओम श्री अहिंस यज्ञ प्रस्तोत्रे नमः। ओम श्री साकार ब्रह्मवर्णनाय नमः। ओम श्री स्वामीनारायणाय नमः। ओम श्री स्वामिने नमः। ओम श्री कालदोष निवारकाय नमः। ओम श्री सत्शास्त्र व्यसनाय नमः। ओम श्री सत्य समाधि सिद्धिकारकाय नमः। ओम श्री कृष्णाचार स्थापनकराय नमः। ओम श्री कौलद्विषे नमः। ओम श्री कलितारकाय नमः। ओम श्री प्रकाश रूपाय नमः। ओम श्री निर्दम्भाय नमः। ओम श्री सर्वजीवितावहाय नमः। ओम श्री भक्ति संपोषकाय नमः। ओम श्री वाग्मीने नमः। ओम श्री चतुर्वर्ग फलप्रदाय नमः। ओम श्री निर्मत्सराय नमः। ओम श्री भक्तवर्मणे नमः। ओम श्री बुद्धिदात्रे नमः। ओम श्री अतिपावनाय नमः। ओम श्री ओबुद्धियुते नमः। ओम श्री ब्रह्मधाम रसकाय नमः। ओम श्री अपराजिताय नमः। ओम श्री आसमुद्रांत सद्कीर्तये नमः। ओम श्री संस्कृति मोचनाय नमः। ओम श्री उदाराय नमः। ओम श्री सहजानंदाय नमः। ओम श्री साध्वी धर्मव्रतकाय नमः। ओम श्री कंदर्प दर्पदलनाय नमः। ओम श्री वैष्णव प्रतुकारकाय नमः। ओम श्री पंचायत सन्मानाय नमः। ओम श्री नैष्ठिक व्रत पोषकाय नमः। ओम श्री प्रगल्भाय नमः। ओम श्री निस्पृहाय नमः। ओम श्री सत्यप्रतिज्ञाय नमः। ओम श्री भक्तवत्सलाय नमः। ओम श्री आरोषणाय नमः। ओम श्री दीर्घदर्शिने नमः। ओम श्री षडुर्मिर्विजयक्षमाय नमः। ओम श्री निराकृतये नमः। ओम श्री अद्रोहाय नमः। ओम श्री रुजवे नमः। ओम श्री सर्वोपकारकाय नमः। ओम श्री नियामकाय नमः। उपसमस्थितये नमः। ओम श्री विनयवते नमः। ओम श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम श्री अजातवैरिणे नमः। ओम श्री निर्लोभाय नमः। ओम श्री महापुरुषाय नमः। ओम श्री आत्मदाय नमः। ओम श्री अखंडितास्मर्यादाय नमः। ओम श्री व्यास सिद्धांत बोधकाय नमः। ओम श्री मनोनिग्रह वित्तिज्ञाय नमः। ओम श्री यमदूत विमोचकाय नमः। ओम श्री पूर्ण कामाय नमः। ओम श्री सत्यवादिने नमः। ओम श्री गुणग्राहिणे नमः। ओम श्री गतस्म्याय नमः। ओम श्री सदाचार प्रियकराय नमः। ओम श्री पुण्य श्रवण कीर्तनाय नमः। ओम श्री सर्वमंगल सद्रूप नाना गुण विशिष्टाय नमः। ओम श्री अक्षरभूषण महाराजाय नमः। ओम श्री गुणस्वामी महाराजाय नमः। ओम श्री भगत जी महाराजाय नमः। ओम श्री शास्त्री जी महाराजाय नमः। ओम श्री योगी जी महाराजाय नमः। ओम श्री प्रमुख स्वामी महाराजाय नमः। ओम श्री महंत स्वामी महाराजाय नमो नमः। इत्यक्तं परम स्तोत्रम जनमंगलम सन्नितं यः पठेत् तेन पठितं भवेदवे सर्वमंगलम यः पठेत् शृणुयाद भक्त्या त्रिकाल श्रावयेच्च वा एतत् तस्य तु पापानि नश्येयु किल सर्वश एतत् सेवमानानां पुरुषार्थ चतुष्टये दुर्लभं नास्ति किमपि हरे कृष्ण प्रसादतः भूतप्रेत पिशाचानां लाकीनी ब्रह्मराक्षसं योगिनीनां तथा बाल ग्रहादीनाम् उपद्रव अभिचारो रिपुकृतो रोगश्चान्योपद्रव युतावर्तनात् अस्य नश्यत्येव न संशय दशावृत्त्या प्रतिदिनम् अस्याभीष्टं सुखं भवेत् बृहस्पतिस्त्यागेभिश्चापि पठन्यमिदं तथा होति श्री सतानमुनि विरचितं श्रीजनमङ्गलाख्यं हरिस्तोत्रं शतनाम स्तोत्रं सम्पूर्णम्। शिवासुदेव विमलामृतधाम वासं नारायणं नरकतारणनामधेयं श्यामं सितं द्विभुजमेव चतुर्भुजं च भक्तिधर्मतनयं शरणं प्रपद्ये शिक्षाकमन्त्रनिजभक्तिमतां नराणां एकान्तधर्म अखिलं परिशीलयन्तम् अष्टाङ्गयोगकलनासमावृतानि त्वां भक्तिधर्मतनयं शरणं प्रपद्ये। पुष्पांजलि नाना सुगंध पुष्पाणि यथा कालोद्वाने च पुष्पांजलि मया दत्तो गुहाण परमेश्वर चरण कमलयुग्मं पंकजे पूजयित्वा कनककुसुममाला कंठदेशे पयित्वा शिरसि विनीतोऽयं मन्त्रपुष्पाञ्जलिस्ते हृदय कमल मध्ये देवहर्षन्तनोतु सेवन्तिका बकुल चंपक पाटलांबजे पुन्नांग जाति करवीर रसाल पुष्पे कुंड प्रवाल तुलसी जल मानसी विष स्वाम पूजयामि जगदीश्वर में प्रसिद्ध ओम नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णु प्रचोदयात् ओम सहजानंदाय विद्महे साक्षराय च धीमहि तन्नो स्वामी प्रचोदयात् ओम श्री अक्षर पुरुषोत्तमाय भक्तमंडल सहितां इमं मंत्र पुष्पांजलि समर्पयामि।
we gonna invite the family members first to come and start and form the line to give a last respect to their Mr. Dr. Lemay. And also, I forgot to tell you, family has made an arrangement for water, sandwiches on right hall outside. So please stop by and have some part of it, please. So, guys, then what we're gonna do, once the family member finishes, we will start from the left side, right to the left, and then we'll start on the right side. Thank you. Just because of the time limit, and also crematory is so busy, we will not be able to do the cremation today, so only family members are doing the private cremation tomorrow morning, early 8 o'clock. Thank you. The sandwiches are, like I said, in the next room, and they are all vegetarian.
Just like when we were little kids.